Hi everyone, I'm Michael, the founder of the Data Incubator. Today we'll be talking about keyboard shortcuts in IPython Notebook, or Jupyter as it's now called. For those of you who don't know much about us, the Data Incubator offers a free 8-week fellowship for people transitioning into careers in data science. We also work with hiring companies who are looking to either hire from the fellowship or who are looking for training opportunities for their employees. For more information, you can see our website at www.thedataincubator.com. So IPython Notebook is one of our favorite tools, and it's a lot like RStudio or Spider, the maybe better known IDEs out there. It's a little bit more presentation focused and a bit better at documenting what you've done. So you can write code and get output and have that all stored in the same format. And of course, that means that graphs also show up and are saved as well, which is a great feature. Like many IDEs, it also features keyboard shortcuts, much as you would get in an editor like Vim or Sublime. So IPython Notebook is a lot like Vim. It has a command mode and an edit mode. So right now we're in command mode, and if you just hit enter, you'll enter edit mode. So edit mode allows you to edit. So for example, I can just type in 1 plus 1, and when I want to run that command, I can use Control Enter to run it. I can also use Option Enter to run that command and create a new cell below. As you probably know, if you're using IPython Notebook, there are multiple types of cells. So you can have code cells and markdown cells, as well as heading cells. So right now I'm going to enter edit mode and type in some commands. Right now that's being evaluated as a code cell. But if I hit M, that turns it into a markdown cell. And so now this is being interpreted as markdown. If I decide I don't like that, I can always use Y to go back to making that a code cell. And of course, if I want a new command, a new cell, Option Enter, I can use 1 to make that a heading, and then that automatically makes it a nice large heading for me. We'll probably want to navigate within our IPython Notebook. So to do that, you can either use up arrow or down arrow, but that's actually a little inconvenient because the arrow keys are usually located off of your keyboard. Instead, we'll probably want to use J and K. So K moves up a cell, J moves down. It's a lot like Vim. Of course, we can also insert a cell above by using A, and insert cells below by using B. We can also use X to delete cells. So if I don't like this heading, I can use X to delete it. We can use C to copy a cell. So let's say I have this. I can use C. I'll use B to insert a cell below, and V will copy and insert a cell below that. Z will actually undo my last cell deletion. So if I deleted a cell and I wasn't happy with that, I can undo it. And S will save the notebook. So right now I just saved the notebook. It's now checkpointed, and I'm safe to go for a little bit. So now let's talk a little bit about editing. So if I'm inside a cell, I can type a partial command, and if I don't really remember what the sum command is, I can hit Tab, and this will give me code completion. So let's say I actually do want the sum function, but now I've forgotten what the sum function does. Shift Tab will actually pull up more documentation about it, and I'm holding down Shift and continue to hit Tab will produce more documentation. We'll hold the documentation there permanently, and we'll actually even pull it up to the very bottom. And if I wanted a shortcut for that, if I just want the documentation at the bottom, you can hit Control Enter, and that also pulls up the documentation. So now let's assume we have some code. So maybe it's like this. But I think that's indented too much. One thing I can do is select it and then hit Apple left square bracket to unindent it and Apple right square bracket to indent the code. That's usually accomplished via tabbing in a normal text editor, but here it's Apple left square bracket and Apple right square bracket. We also have selection, so we can use Apple A to select everything. We can use Apple Z to undo the last thing we did, Apple Shift Z to redo it, and Apple Z to undo again. Apple Y also does redo. Apple up arrow will go to the start of a cell. Apple down arrow will go to the end of the cell. And if we have something like this, we can use Option left arrow to start moving left a word and Option right arrow to move right a word. And much like in Emacs, Control A will go to the beginning of the line and Control E will go to the end of the line. Also, if you're really into it, Option delete will delete an entire word for you. Now all this is great, but if you forget any of these shortcuts, don't forget that when you are in command mode, H will pull up a list of all the commands that we talked about. I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. If you're interested in more, please check out our YouTube page at www.youtube.com/dataincubator or visit our website at www.thedataincubator.com. Thanks for joining us.